Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here is the new TriggerTech Tikka trigger. We're at the outdoor range, but before we get into the specifics of the new TriggerTech Tikka diamond trigger, we're gonna send some rounds downrange in our 6.5 Creedmoor Tikka, and right after that we're gonna head to the studio and we're gonna get into all of the technical specifications of this trigger, and we're also gonna install it and show you some more range footage with it installed and give you our verdict. Let's go.
So we're going to set up our targets right now. Again, this is for the Tikka CTR, the T3X. The point of all of this is to see the difference between the stock trigger and the upgraded trigger for comfort, accuracy, and all the rest of the goodies that we're going to share with you. We just want to say thank you to our friends at Real Avid for providing this laser bore sighter. So this is going to be able to put us a little closer on paper today. We're at 100 yards right now. So again, thank you very much. This is their latest version of their laser bore sighter for you to sight in your scopes. Okay, we have the D&T optics. This is referred to as the One, and it's such a great optic. It's the first time we're going to be using it today. It has a zero stop. The Japanese glass doesn't run you a lot for something like this in its range. It retails between $8.99 and $10.99 at various stores. Budget friendly. It's got a lot of great reviews in the US, so we're going to try it here, Canadian caliber, for the first time. So it's still relatively smooth, and it is comfortable to shoot. I've used the TriggerTech triggers before, and I anticipate that it is going to be a smoother trigger pull, and it's also going to have less creep, and I think it's just going to be overall more comfortable.
All right, it's a chilly day today. These are the first shots out of the Tikka with the OEM trigger. As you can see, at 100 yards, not that bad. My impression on the OEM trigger, it is still light. When you engage it, it does go right away, so it's not a bad trigger. Nothing's been sighted in at all yet. This is the first couple shots. So far, not bad.
We're here at Target Sports with Fern, and we're going to be installing the brand new Tikka T3X trigger from TriggerTech.
Out of the box, you're going to get a small Allen key to adjust the poundage on the TriggerTech trigger. And it's also got the instruction manual over here. So for reference, you could look through it, but we're also going to just go ahead and start installing it right now.
Of course, we want to make sure that the firearm is proved safe, which we've done. And we're going to remove the bolt. That's step one of the process here. So Fern, if you want to. Perfect.
Step two, what we're going to do is just remove the two bolts from underneath the rifle. We're going to flip it over and we're going to start unscrewing those two major screws that's keeping it in.
We've actually pre-loosened these two bolts a tiny bit, just to show you here. These are the two screws you're going to remove, and it's good to keep them separated, you know, front to rear, so that the thread pattern matches back up again. So we're going to leave this one on the rear, for you got the front there, and I think you're just going to remove the whole assembly here. Perfect.
It's just that easy. You're going to remove that, and the one bolt that's holding in the trigger is located right over here. So we're going to start to loosen that guy up.
So we're going to just loosen this bolt. It is pretty snug. We're going to give it a good turn here, and there you go. You've broken the actual seal. Now you can remove it. There we go. There's your stock trigger.
Let's see it.
And you just want to set this aside as well, because you never know if you're ever going to use this again. And you do want to keep the bolt and reuse the bolt with that diamond trigger from TriggerTech. So you're going to have to use the stock bolt.
Step four, it's literally just reinstalling the aftermarket trigger.
So is it safe to say that this is a drop-in trigger? It's already been pre-set by the factory settings. You're just putting it in.
Yeah, so
then,
it It fits perfectly in. All you got to do is just seed that bolt in. Now, it's optional for you if you want to bring down the poundage of the trigger of when it breaks, or if you want to make it a bit heavier. It's up to you.
And you're going to want to give this a pretty firm, it was pretty hard to break it open, so I am using a torque wrench here.
As per the manual, it's telling the user to tighten the bolt down between 55 to 65 pounds of torque.
Okay, and I actually just want to mention we're using a Real Avid set here that was given to us by our good friends at Real Avid. This is a great set. I've been using this for over a year, and it's a full-on set here. So it does come with a torque wrench, and we're going to set that to 55, 60, you said, Fran?
55, 65, make it 60, somewhere in the middle.
Let's go to 60 here.
Yeah.
And here we are, we're at 60.
Beauty. So you don't want to over-tighten it so it messes up the threads.
Okay, so
or the trigger housing itself.
when you hear that snap on your torque wrench, you're good, and we are good to go here.
That's it. So step 5, the only thing left to do is putting it back into the stock that you're using. Just make sure that once you tighten the final 2 bolts back in underneath the stock, that you do check for the trigger and its safety to see it's still functional.
That's pretty simple, I have to say. You know, you got 5 steps here, and
It's
we're
easy.
reassembling the rifle right now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So for this rifle in particular, it's a Tikka T3X. It's a 44-pound-inch torque for the bottom 2 screws holding in the action to the stock. Do your own due diligence and make sure that you know the poundage of all the screws to the rifle that it is that you're using.
So we're going to set this now at, you said 40?
44.
44, okay. 43, 44, here we go. And one thing we said to put the screws aside, the rear screw is much longer than the front for the stock here. So you're gonna basically put your screws in. We've set the wrench here at 44.
Yep.
Just to get this nice and even, we'll get that going around here. When
Yep.
it gets a little snug, move to the back so you get the distribution correct.
Yep.
So it seats properly, and then we're gonna do this here and give it that turn until you hear a click. And remember, when you hear that click, back it one more back to 44. A lot of people forget to do that, and now you're actually going to 45. So you wanna back it back to its original till you hear that click. And there you go. Okay, we're on to one of the final steps here is to reinsert your bolt. Okay, you've got your bolt reinserted here. Remember to put this back on your safety. We're gonna check that now. Fern, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're gonna just make sure that the safety is actually working on the rifle.
And we're gonna prove the rifle safe.
Yep. All right, so now we're gonna function test the safety and overall feel of the trigger, all right? So let's reset that hammer all the way back. Safety is off. Let's see.
Wow.
That is incredible. I don't think I've ever felt something so smooth and light on a trigger, overall firearm like that in my life.
That's very different than the stock
Can you
trigger.
do me a favor? I'm just gonna reset it.
Sure. Yeah, because I've actually
Feel
used
that trigger.
I've used this rifle before, and let's just get into the safe here. And wow, that is a very
insane.
light trigger.
Now, we're gonna just see if we did our job right over here and everything's functioning how it should be functioning, and see if the safety itself works. So we're gonna just reset the hammer back. And now we're gonna put the rifle on safe, because that was crazy smooth and light. I wanna see if it does function correctly, how it should. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Now I'm gonna take the safety off. Again, my finger on the trigger. I want you guys to watch the short distance that it actually travels before it breaks. That's incredible.
You know, kudos to TriggerTech. I've never changed a trigger before. I know you've changed many. Within a few steps, we've completely changed the dynamic of this rifle. I mean, this is a quality built item, and now with this upgrade, I can't wait to actually fire this.
Yeah, I mean, the Tikka, it's an incredible manufacturer, and the Tikka T3X is an incredible platform as it is. Many people will also agree that the barrel is important, the scope that you're using is important, the stock, the bedding, the bipod, you name it. But the moment that you change a trigger, like what TriggerTech has offered us, it changes everything, the overall feel. The trigger is adjustable, so if it is too light, you could definitely adjust it to your liking. After all, it is customizable, so it's up to you what you want to do with that.
You know, having actually walked through the Ontario facility here at TriggerTech, just to say the least, their quality standards, you know, you watch the manufacturing process and now you're feeling it today. I'm sure that this is going to be in and around their retail price where most of their triggers land, which is completely reasonable as an upgrade, especially to something like this. When you've changed the game like this, I'm going to say that for sure when it comes out soon, because we've actually had the first trigger here, we've got our hands on it, we've now brought the video to you. Okay, and we actually want to thank Guard Dog Inserts. This is an amazing case here that you can actually, it's a Nanook case, okay? If you see, it's a 904 Nanook case, but it's been custom made with the insert from Guard Dog. I've actually never seen anything like this before. It's such a sturdy foam here, and you can put your 6.5 or 308 or a couple different size rounds in here. Amazing design, amazing quality. I've been using this now for about a year, and just, you know, still maintains its shape.
Going hot. I've never felt anything as crisp, smooth, and effortless like that trigger. The feel of it is so smooth. There's no sense of grit or creep at all. It's literally like one stage. It's breaking glass. It's so crisp and clean. So with adjusting the trigger itself, you could definitely adjust its sensitivity overall, which translates to the accuracy and overall potential of your rifle. It's definitely an improvement from what Tikka has to offer. Nothing to take away from their quality. It's excellent. It's just different. I believe that you could just customize it that much more to your style of shooting, especially when it comes to long distance shooting and your overall marksmanship. Going hot.
So our final thoughts, first thing I want to do is actually thank TriggerTech for giving us this amazing sneak peek and trigger. You've seen today such an easy installation, just a couple minutes I would say. Just make sure you follow the proper steps. It already had a decent, I'm going to say, I don't know, how would you rate this stock trigger?
The stock trigger is, it's a solid 5 out of 5, right? But overall, it just changes the dynamic, overall feel, the sensitivity, and the potential just to customize it that much more out of the box on already an incredible rifle as it is. So if you take a close look, it's a sharp looking trigger, isn't it?
Tikka's really knocked it out of the park here. I don't think we could ever go back to the stock trigger.
No.
And please leave a comment below. The manufacturers will always read your comments. It's very important to share your feedback with them so they can continue to manufacture products like this and provide continuous improvements.
All right, you saw the new TriggerTech Tikka trigger right here on Canadian Caliber. We're the first, maybe, I think the first to break the news and show you an in-depth tutorial on how to, first of all, install the trigger and some shots. So please make sure you comment below. Let us know your thoughts. You heard it from CCTV, and we'll see you in the next one.